I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is the 21st meeting of the year, Mahoning County Commissioners, Thursday, May 23rd, 2024 at 11:02 a.m. And with that being said, we will begin with public comments. Your name and address for the record.
That's because he wants job points. Nice. He wants to move to the good side.
Next week. You got a
Paulie, did you
got
tame
a
him
fresh
down?
haircut? No, Jim.
I know.
I mean,
You look
look,
good.
clean
You're
cut.
noticing.
Clean cut. You know what? It's sad to say that the balder I get, the more I look at everybody else's hair. I'm just jealous. You know? And
That's all that brains, knowledge.
And, you know, one of my favorite deputies that I used to call Perfect Hair, you know, I miss him dearly,
John
but,
Gillespie.
and, you know, he was perfect hair, but I'm telling you, you're a close second. You're a close second with that hair. It's all good. Take the compliment. Thanks. So.
That's good. Okay, anyone else?
Take his comments.
Okay. Well, then we will move on to the business portion of the meeting. And I will ask for a motion from Carol Rigetti.
Motion to approve for the approval of previous minutes of board meeting number 20, Thursday, May 16th, 2024, and approval of bills for payment.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Legal notices, number one, lead. Phil?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the public notice of our legal notice of public hearing number 2 for the CHIP grant program, covering the CDBG guidelines for receiving our grants.
Okay, thank you very much. Motion?
Motion to approve legal notices, number 1.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Journal entry?
Motion to approve journal entry number 1.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes, agreements A through F. We will begin with grants management. And Anna?
Good morning, Commissioners. This is the second addendum with the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections for the Community-Based Corrections Program 501 Subsidy Grant Agreement and the additional amount of $139,678 per the recommendation of the Facility Governing Board.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
B, C, and D, lead?
B is an agreement with Affordable Services, Inc. for lead risk assessments and clearances in the amount of $75,000, non-general. C is also an agreement with MD Contracting LLC for lead risk assessments and clearance examinations in the amount of $75,000. And D is a memorandum of agreement with Mahoning County Public Health for lead inspection, risk assessments, clearances, and lab fees, estimated amount of $125,000, all non-general.
Thank you, Phil. Sanitary? Pat or
Morning,
Eric?
Commissioners. Yeah, I'm here. Letter E is an agreement with Covenant Administrators LLC, doing business as 90 Degree Benefits. This is for the dental plan benefit management services for 2 years in the estimated amount of $4,185 for the first year. These are non-general funds.
Thank you, Pat. And Sheriff, Mr. Abers.
Good morning.
Morning.
Commissioners, F is an agreement with Clemens Nelson and Associates for consulting services in the amount of $25,000 with renewal options, and that's non-general.
Thank you, Joe. Motion?
Motion to approve number 2, agreements A through F.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Change orders 3A, lead. Phil Purrier?
This is change order number 1 with the Howland Company LLC for CHIP rehab work at 3179 Highland in the amount of $900, non-general.
Thank you, Phil. Joe?
Motion to approve number 3, change orders A.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes, 4 appointments. Letter A, this is under the commissioners. We're appointing the following individuals to serve on various Mahoning County building inspection boards for 2 years. I don't think necessary for me to read the names.
No.
Okay,
Amy's on.
okay. Who is it?
Amy's.
morning.
From, oh, hello. Hi.
Hello, filling in for Jeff.
Filling in for Jeff.
Okay, did we do that? We got this correct?
Correct.
These are board appointments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Carol?
Motion to approve number 4, appointments A.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes, resolutions, number 1 additions.
Motion to approve resolutions number 1 additions.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
You sure?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. Okay, resolutions A
Molly.
through H.
You want
Bring the right hander in from the bullpen. Oh, boy, I got that look. I didn't catch it. Okay. All right, engineers, letter A, Pat.
Commissioners, letter A is a resolution approving the agreement with Burgess and Nyepel for the engineering services on the replacement project of the State Street Bridge in the city of Struthers in the amount of $179,000. These are non-general funds.
Thank you. Facilities, Alan.
Morning, Commissioners. B is a resolution approving the moral obligation payment of $27,015.95 to Break Fire Incorporated for repairs to several fire and sprinkler systems at various county buildings.
Thank you. Grants management, Anna.
Good morning again, Commissioners. This is a few resolutions approving the agreements and expenditures with the following agencies funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. We have Best Purpose, Inc. in the amount of $40,000. We have the Board of Health in the amount of $18,000. We have the Donald Lockett VFW Post in the amount of $60,000. And Sojourn to the Past in the amount of $25,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Letter D, E, and F.
Good morning,
JJC.
Good morning, Commissioners. D is a resolution in support of the competitive reclaim Category 1 grant application to the Ohio Department of Youth Services in the amount of $150,000 for 2 years with no cash match. E is a resolution in support of the competitive reclaim Category 2 grant application to the Ohio Department of Youth Services in the amount of $150,000 for 2 years with no cash match. And F is a resolution in support of the competitive reclaim Category 3 grant application to the Ohio Department of Youth Services in the amount of $150,000 for 2 years with no cash match.
Wow.
Very good.
Great.
Good range. Letter G and H, lead.
Letter G is a resolution approving the moral obligation payment was a change order in excess of 20% on the 709 Cameron for Howland Company LLC for some unforeseen things that came about after the project was underway. And H is a resolution accepting the CDBG funds from the city of Youngstown that were in match of our 2022 lead hazard reduction grant, which pretty much covered our statutory match for the grant period itself at $500,000. It'll be used for lead hazard control work in up to 50 homes at an average of 10,000 apiece.
Okay, thank you, Phil. Motion?
Motion to approve number 2 resolutions A through H.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficante?
Yes. And if we go to the order, any elected officials or department heads here to comment? Yeah, moving.
I do.
Audrey?
I wasn't here when we recognized Megan as our new CDB and Public Relations Director. So I thought it'd be nice if she could get up and kind of tell about herself. And thank you.
I'd rather tell other people's story than my own.
That's-
Come on up.
Here, I'll just do this because I don't want it back to anybody. Hi, everyone. Officially, you guys have probably seen me running around here taking a lot of pictures for the last few months. I'm still going to be doing that. But my name is Megan Magnetta. I am the new director of the Convention and Visitors Bureau, as well as Media Relations. To give a little bit about my background, I'm a lifetime Mahoning County resident, Austintown girl. Yeah. Graduate of Youngstown State University in Advertising and Public Relations. For the last 20 years, I've been at a marketing agency called McConnell Marketing. 10 of those years, I was the owner of that, just sold it recently. And, after, selling the business, I said, I've been working with the CVB for the last 7 years, doing all of their marketing on the other side as McConnell Marketing. So I'm very familiar with the area and the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I'm really excited to just be in this new position and to, contribute to, let's say, the growth and prosperity of Mahoning County and Youngstown in general. I think a lot of stories need to be told about Mahoning County, whether it's events, festivals, attractions that we have. So I'm looking forward to building those relationships with all of the different stakeholders and really telling everybody how great of a place Mahoning County is. So, looking forward to working with all of you, and I can't wait to tell you some of the new stuff that we have planned that's coming up. So you'll see some of my resolutions coming up. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Anyone else on the screen want to say anything? No.
Everybody's quiet.
Carol?
I just, we got an award. We're at 11 o'clock today because we received an award and Dave has that there in front of him. Do you want to give him a highlight
Well,
to our two board members?
it's Valley Partners. Valley Partners, as we found out, were formed in 1978. They were Medbec, Mahoning Valley Economic Development. They changed their name recently to Valley Partners within the last, 5 years, Jim? I think it was that, maybe, I say things that happened within 5 years and then somebody says, oh no, that was 11. I think, oh wow, where'd all that time go? But
I remember. the
yeah,
old
they
agency.
they have an event annually and they've celebrated their anniversary, acknowledging a lot of people and I did not bring my little card. I meant to bring my card. I could have announced the people that were winners. But we got one of the, do you have yours? One of the awards for economic development in the Valley and by the Valley Partners. And it's very nice of them to acknowledge the work that we've had the opportunity to do, a lot through the ARPA funds that have been given and a lot through the funds that we've gotten in carryover just from being good stewards and saving money, So there's a lot of people that are involved that did a lot of great things to get us to where we're at. Fortunately, we get to go up and accept the award, but there's so many involved. Anna, your presence on the board since 2014, representing the commissioners, as our member on the board at Valley Partners, was acknowledged as well today. And, so we thank you immensely for always being our voice in our ear, on the board itself. And, bringing back to the value you add immensely to what we do as a board. So thank you and so many other people for what you've done. And so we wanted to make sure we acknowledge you because you do a great job for us. So go ahead.
And they have, that's been around, like you said, for many years. And I remember when they were in the old location and being involved with government back then as well. And then being over at the city. As a councilwoman, you saw this agency went from, I've got to tell you, from being there, and I'm not saying they didn't do anything then, But from being there to really building a full economic development agency for the small business people, because there was never that back then. I mean, you had to go to the banks, you had to go here, and you couldn't afford the interest rates. And to have our government, our Mahoning County, the three of us give the money we gave to help the small businesses, and it didn't matter whether you were in Youngstown, Campbell, Struthers, Austintown, Boardman, you were Mahoning County. So I'm really proud that some of the people I know that have small businesses got a little bit of help, and honestly now they're actually doing very well. And that's good for Youngstown as well as the rest of the areas in Mahoning County. And we even help people in Sebring.
That's Mahoning County.
No, I know.
So they were included in that, you know, and
I mean, you never
in
think
the,
about that
county thing.
because it's almost 40 minutes from here,
But yeah, no, you're so right. And the funny thing was they started in 1978 as a result of the mill shutting down in 1977.
Right.
That was their intent, to try and help small businesses survive because of all the business loss with all the jobs that were lost. And, you know, and it really is hard to imagine, because in 1977, I was working at Youngstown Sheet and Tube, and I was, you know, fortunate enough to not lose my job because I was in the union and I was a laborer out in the seamless hot mill, and that was the only department to continue to run. And the consent decree of the contract at the time stated that you had super seniority as departments if your department continued to run and another department shut down. So I was hired into the seamless hot mill department. So people that literally had 40 years in the hot strip, cold strip, blooming mill, they couldn't bump me out with 1 year in the seamless hot mill because I had a permanent job in the seamless hot mill, and it continued to run, which, you know, I was an 18-year-old kid and I thought, heck, I'll get laid off, you know? And I was going to school and it was a learning experience. And when the mill shut down, you saw a different side of the county and what was and what wasn't, you know, because I started there when there's 20,000 people working at Youngstown Sheet and Tube, walking across the footbridge 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And when I walked out of there, I was black as coal from head to toe. I wore one of those hats that looked like an airplane from World War I. And you took that off when you left, you were just filthy. You know, we threw coal and sulfur in the seamless hot mill pipes, and out the red hot pipe came all the residue, you know, and you breathe that all day long. And I mean, today, you know, they'd shut you down for, you know, environmental things today. And so, but anyway, I mean, that was the preface for them starting, was to help small businesses in 1978 that were devastated from it, you know, and they went through the litany of things, and it was very interesting and it was very rewarding. And it's an honor that they acknowledged, you know, a lot of good groups and companies, and I apologize for not bringing them here. With all
and the partners
yeah.
too.
So,
The partners.
and
you know.
Well, it's my turn. I'll just finish up with, yesterday we had another honor. We got to go to the amphitheater in advance, and thank you for everybody on the staff, especially Holly, for we were able to meet with Left End and present them, you know, with a proclamation, not a proclamation.
Here's the shirt they gave us all.
And so, you know,
That's the
they're,
band, right, Dave?
yeah.
And this was their album,
Yeah, that was their first album, Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiled Rotten. And it fits me.
And actually,
Finally got a shirt that fits.
they played for one of the first parties on the plaza back in the early 70s when we were with the Young Dumps.
So I
And then
remember
they
Left
hired
End
them
from
as
the
well.
Orange Room to the nightclub I owned at the Arcade in Youngstown. And they played every Sunday night at the Arcade in the years that I owned it. And so I knew the four original members of the band and all the ones that have joined and come and gone during the years. And, you know, they're going to have the concert at the amphitheater on Sunday. The house band is going to play first, then Left End. And, you know, the only
That'll be
member not
great.
here is Dennis T. Menace, who passed away. And Anthony did a great job yesterday when we presented them with their proclamation. And he gave it to Dennis's daughter, who was there with her granddaughter, with Dennis's granddaughter, with her daughter, to accept it. And then we had one made for all of the individuals in the band members now as well. So, so that it was really nice, and it was an opportunity for us to go down memory lane with, you know, a big part of the history of Youngstown and this valley. I mean, Left End, they were ahead of their time. Anthony said it right yesterday. They were far ahead of their time with respect to rock bands. I mean, the Eagles opened for Left End. That's what we're talking, where they were. Back in 1970, the band started. And, you know, they played on stage with Seeger, with the Eagles, with George, Cheap Trick. There was other, oh gosh, Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
They were with I mean, they played, you know, in concerts that, you know, I mean, their music still lives today. And, you know, and the thing that was nice, their first album, the album, the name of the album was Spoiled Rotten. And so that's, you know, how we said that, you know, all of us from Youngstown are spoiled rotten because we got to appreciate Left End from their inception, you know. So a lot of good times they brought to the Idora Park Ballroom. Used to be the spring thing, you know, all the time. And that's kind of reminiscent of what we're going to do on Sunday night at the concert in the amphitheater. And Mayor Tito Brown was here to present them with awards as well. And it was just a great time.
Make sure they have their,
And then
I'm gonna give them
Cities.
to them on.
the cities, call the city today. I'll give you the number.
And then one sad thing I have to say, just to tell everybody to remember to watch out for people, motorcycles, for children, for animals. You know, we you know, we're in summertime. There's a lot of slag out now, makes it difficult, especially if you've ever ridden a motorcycle. It's a tough time, and I'm like not a real experienced motorcycle rider, even though I make sure my endorsement that I got in 1980 on my license never comes off it, because if they don't remember to put it on, you got to go take the test again. So I don't think I can pass it again. But anyway, so remember to watch out for people, and for, you know, we had presentations for workers as well that are working on the roadways, you know, and the things that, you know, people that get up to go to work today, especially Jim can attest to, that being that they're out doing construction work on roads at Rudzik so many days that, you know, people that get up this morning with their family expect to come home for dinner tonight.
Yep.
And we don't want that to not happen. Yeah, and then I wanted to say that I always talk about our animals, you know, and I have to tell you, my wife and I were coming home down Lipke Road about a week ago. And did you ever see a squirrel runs out in the road and all of a sudden it just stands up and looks at you, you know, and my wife slams her brakes on, stops the car, and the squirrel's standing there. And we're looking at him saying,
wanna bring him
okay, come
home.
on, get off the road, right? And a car comes zipping around us,
Oh.
beeping it, laying on its horn. And the guy in the passenger seat's hanging out the window, flipping us off.
Wow.
And my wife is an angry
Driver?
hunky. Right.
My
My wife is that, you know, Polish, Hungarian, Slovak.
Oh,
And,
Jesus.
you know, and she'll fool you with her looks, you know, she's petite, but I'm telling you, she got up on this guy's butt and I'm telling her, look, this is how people get shot. You know, I said, it is what it is, you know, I mean, just let it go. And the funny, so she backed off. And the funny thing is we were behind them. They went all the way, I mean, like 5-6 miles all the way, and turned on our road. And we were right behind them. So you had to think that we were following him, right? But he turned on a side street off of New Road and we went down to our house because we live on New Road. And and then my wife looks at me and she has a smile on her face and she goes, "I'll bet I had him nervous." You know, and I said, "Yeah, until they saw you or shot us, you know, one or the other." But, you know, the reason I talk about that is that one of, just like the horse in the Preakness, where 2,700 people own the horse. Did you guys see that? Was that amazing?
Yeah.
$125 a piece. They bought a share in, and 2,700 people owned the horse that won the Preakness.
That's pretty smart.
Right. So
We should have got in on that.
there's a cat that lives in our neighborhood. His name is Thundercloud that I talk about. Thundercloud is the one that comes through my dog door and eats out of the cat bowls and sleeps on our bed. And he has the GPS on. He lives about a mile from our house in Stone Hollow. He has his own website on Stone Hollow. And he goes from, people post pictures, he's sleeping at somebody's house all the time, all the time. I told Jenny that, and I apologize for talking so long. I told Jenny that this is like a story.
6 cups.
This is like a story of someone that passes away, a traveling salesman that passes away, and they find out he has 10 families in 10 different states all over the United States, right? So Thundercloud goes everywhere for 2 years. He's only 2 years old, and I'm telling you, he is the smartest cat you've ever seen in your life. He stands up, he looks in things, he assesses everything, he goes here, goes there. He is so funny, he is so cute. And the people that own him, 2 little girls and their parents, and they just check where he's at every night. And he's usually either in the summertime, he stays pretty much at home. But in the winter, he spent the whole winter at our house. And I felt guilty because I would take him back over and I was scared because he crosses New Road to the bike path to go to his house. Well, I mean, he sleeps at everybody's house. He slept at our place predominantly during the winter. And I got a call from his owner Tuesday that he got hit with a car and he got killed.
Wow.
And so on his website for Stone Hollow, I mean, I was blown away that all these people posted pictures of him at their home. And there had to be 30 of them, 30 different people who he stayed with. I mean, not just, came to their house, but sleeping on their bed, sleeping here, sleeping there. And everybody has been, just like in tears because, somebody just, and it's a real small subdivision there. It's a dead end. And somebody came around this little bend. There's only 10 houses there and hit him and never stopped. And someone finally found him and knew who he was and they got him to the vet. He passed on trying to operate on him, but so it breaks everyone's heart for Thundercloud. So I just have to say condolences to all my friends in Stone Hollow and Emily and Steve Matthews who own Thundercloud and their 2 little girls. And when he called me, they were heartbroken as well as the rest of us. So anyway, watch out for your animals.
Anthony,
And watch out for animals like Jim that's jogging on the road, Carol, jogging on the road, watch out for those.
you really, honestly,
joggers.
You're lucky to go to Poland.
Yeah,
I mean, I go in the park with
Right.
Jimmy.
I can
Whoa.
hide.
If you come around a bend, they're flying around the bend. I'm like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called road rage. People are crazy. I'm sorry about Thundercloud.
Yeah, that's
That's a shame. I mean, honest to God, we love our animals.
Yeah.
But no, just not to add any more. Dave took up all my time, but that's all right. That's all right. I just want to congratulate Anna for getting
Yes.
the award, the Legacy Awards,
Yes.
along with everybody this morning at the breakfast and including the commissioners here for the ARPA money that we've helped sustain businesses in the community. It was funny, me and Carol were sitting there and they were flashing those old pictures. And we recognize people from back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like, there's Harry Michelle, there's Don French,
And I'm
there's
like-
Donald Mead.
I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, all these economic
Wasn't,
people.
Then he goes like this.
Marsico and
He goes
Marsico,
like this.
he looked the same.
He said to me,
This was old then.
he said to me, you have to know all these people. That was back, I went, don't even go.
Yeah, I
there."
know. But real quick, one of the things about the Valley Partners is back in the day when I worked with Congressman Trafficant, we couldn't get the banks to participate with people who wanted to start businesses because the banks wouldn't take part in any economic development. So Jim Trafficant started the revolving loan fund with Second National Bank with Ed Mattisey, who was president of the bank. And that's what generated cash into the community for like young entrepreneurs want to go out and get a loan. A bank wouldn't want to sit down and talk to you. But when you had that program and you had a proposal, those banks would sit down and talk to you because they were getting some type of funds, through other seed monies that were taking part in this. So that whole thing just gelled together really nice. So it was good. And Don French looked really good.
He did.
I mean, I remember him when I was
And
20
can't
years
believe
old.
it. I mean,
He looks the same.
he doesn't look any different than he did
Yeah.
years ago.
Same with George Peelan.
I know,
and
he's
yours is the
timeless.
same. I mean,
Yeah.
it is timeless.
And he's
Oh my God, we're
probably-
rambling, aren't
Yeah.
we?
So,
Okay.
Anthony, we're gonna get you up on stage tomorrow with Left End to play a little guitar?
If they asked me to, I'd love to. Yeah, just one song. That would be
Has to be
good.
an AC/DC.
It has to be an AC/DC or Black Sabbath.
Okay. Hey, he's going into the hall again this year.
Who is?
Black
Black Sabbath.
Well, no, they're already in. Now
Ozzy.
Ozzy's going in
Osbourne.
as a solo artist.
I hope he gets it. He
Oh.
should.
No, he is going.
Is he,
Yeah,
he's
going in.
nominated.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, he's
Don't
already-
forget Veterans Day.
Nancy's ready to chew us up.
Jimmy,
Yeah, Memorial Day.
Memorial.
Memorial Day.
God,
Jimmy, would you like to
Yeah, talk.
briefly, please?
Yeah.
You're a veteran.
Think about Memorial Day, other than start of summer, picnics, and buying mattresses.
Yeah.
Let's go back to what it's for. Like everybody,
I
just
agree.
take a second and hold your breath. And think of those that have died and what was their last breath? Why me? The pain? My husband, my wife, my children. Think about that. That's what they did for us in that last second of helping us, and they died.
You're so right, Jim. I tell you, I had it written here too, to talk about, I talked about everything except the most important thing. You're so right. And we tomorrow will all be at the Fallen Officers Memorial for Mahoning County to honor the police officers
You should come to that.
that have lost their life in duty, and I forget the number, but I believe it's like 54.
Yes.
I think it's right around that number. And, it's,
And this is
it's,
civilian.
when you talk about going to work this morning, expecting to come home tonight, every mother, every wife, every husband, that has someone in law enforcement, our deputies, the amazing job they do, we joke around with them and stuff, but, they're watching all the time, and they keep an eye and they protect all of us. And, I had the privilege to swear Mike Hartzell in as an Austin Town Auxiliary Officer. And back then you couldn't get a full-time job. It was hard to get a full-time police job. People were waiting in line for years as auxiliary. And he got an opportunity to come to Youngstown and he came to Youngstown. And then that crackpot nut,
Followed him downtown.
killed him,
Shot him in a car.
For no
shot him in
reason.
his car and was just,
Periscope.
No.
it was right out in the middle of the road, I think at an intersection.
He
The
was,
guy was
he was
crazy.
actually
And,
at,
but
he stopped to do something and he pulled aside. And
I
wherever
think
he,
Hartzell even stopped to help him, right? It might have been, and then he ran up and because he was at loose, the guy at large, the guy that shot him. I don't, maybe you remember, but yeah, so many sad situations and, their life on the line all the time and the Memorial Day for the veterans, People lost their life. My dad's brother-in-law was killed in the Battle of the Bulge, and I had the privilege to go into Belgium and see where that was when I was in Europe. And, so everyone has a family member, a story, a friend like yourself. God bless you. You're sitting here, a Vietnam veteran. You were the fortunate one that came back and survived. And, it's just, really a time, you're right. It's not a time to buy a mattress. It's a time to make sure we put our heart and our soul behind honoring those who gave their lives for us, whether in law enforcement, military, everything. So,
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jimmy. And I tell you, one of those commercials that really catch me is that Wounded Warrior one,
Yes.
where that guy's arms are blowed off and his leg, and he says, all I told myself when that happened, if I can keep breathing, I'll be able to come back and see my wife and kid. Think about that, just what you said.
Yes.
Thank you, Jimmy, and for your service and everybody, all of our law enforcement, military people.
Yeah.
All right, Nance, our next meeting?
It's gonna be next Friday at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Ditzler?
Yes.
Commissioner Remedy Agati?
Yes.
Commissioner Trafficant?
Yes, thank you, everyone. Nice Memorial Day.